Okay, I think we are almost where we want to be. Okay. Okay, we are now live.
All right, sir.
Okay, let me see if I can write something. Okay. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to our viewers. This is the Benin Empire Advancement League. Today, live event is just a discussion between the president and the vice president of the Benin Empire Advancement League about the matters arising in Obayanto and so many other communities that is affected in the Benin Empire. We have had a lot of discussion about this, but we want to bring it live to our people so that they can see what is happening in Obayanto and what has been happening in the empire. So we decided to do this because it's like the stage discussion is going to another level, because we have to take it to another level. Because many people are asking why the palace is not responding to the issue of Obayanto. So that is where we are trying to deliberate on, and also from the government side, why they are not responding to the people of Obayanto. Yesterday, I did a half an hour about Obayanto. But the problem in our empire is not just Obayanto alone. We have this whole issue of the security combined together. The issue of the herdsmen, the issue of land grabbing that resulted to that of Obayanto. We have been seeing this the last 20 years, where our people are just killed just because of a plot of land that was 50 by 50, where our people also use the military to oppress the others. So our discussion is going to the direction of the palace, because most of our viewers, they want to know why the palace is not reacting to Obayanto.
Yeah.
I know many of our viewers, they will not agree with us, but we have to say what we want to say, whether you like it or not. The Benin Empire is our empire, it's our land. We have to defend it. Even from our own people. Because when our people is good, we are also good. When our people is in peace, we are also in peace. Now we are not in peace. Yes, my response when people ask me why the palace is not responding to the issue of Obayanto, I want people to understand so many things. Till a few years ago, I was also asking the same question. Why is the palace is not responding to such issue? One day, I decided to follow my own senior brother to the palace to look what is going on in the palace, to see with my own naked eyes why the palace is not responding to such issues. Surprisingly, I saw something very different from my own view. What I was seeing, what I saw a few days was something I couldn't expect. In the whole of Edo land, in fact, even the smallest community, all of them are involved in one way or the other in land dispute. Some go to court. After they lose in court, they will now remember that the palace is there. Even when the palace give instructions, our people will not obey those instructions. They will keep on doing what they are doing, killing themselves. There's no day in the palace before it doesn't have at least 5 settlements of land dispute. Then, that's just the beginning. Then you will have the so-called the family affairs, where people will come with their issues with their family in dividing the properties of what their parents left behind, which are also settled in the palace. And other issues, even some of the politicians who are having issues with other politicians, they come to palace sometimes to settle their issues. In the case of Obayanto, let me start this way. When I was growing up, because I grew up in the village, a very small village, which is maybe about 35 houses, not even, as of now, it's reduced to, let me say, 20 houses. There's what we call Iko. Our forefathers, they used to sit down in Iko, discuss the affairs of the village, of the communities, without the Okagele, without Ikboluge or Egele. And this, they come down, no matter their differences, to say the truth, to settle things in the manner that everybody will accept. There was no fight, nothing. And they were so peaceful in all the communities. But now, I don't think you can go to any village today where they have Iko, where you won't see the so-called Egele, which is now called, what do they call them now? The Okagele, but there's the name given to them now, and the Ikboluwe. You hardly see our elders in Iko coming to say a word because we said we are civilized. Now we are civilized. We don't want to settle our issues at home ourselves. We go to the palace. And when the palace gives judgment, these people, they will not accept it. They will not even honor the judgment given by the palace. These issues has led in Benin and Evaro to so many bloodsheds. When Pa Idu and his people were forming this empire, when they come together to form this empire, because that's the only name we know, but there were other people, because Idu is the most popular one. There were other people who joined Pa Idu to form what is now today known as the Benin Empire. They come together because of togetherness, because they love each other. But now we are having, sorry, I have something in my left eye. We have the situation that the half of the land in Benin City is already sold out to other people, to foreigners. to foreigners. I will not also call them foreigners again because they bought this land with their own money. We have our youth who are so greedy. Greedy because in the Benin tradition, we say Odion or Odion. Now, Ikbolure, we now come to Iko to be settling matter and asking Odion Were to keep quiet. People who are not supposed to be Odion Were will be promoted to Odion Were because of the influence they're having. This issue has caused a lot of death in the Benin Empire. I can remember years ago in Ugbo, Amagba, Obayanto, the same Obayanto we are talking about. It didn't start today, it started long ago. Where we have Okagele this, Okagele that. We have never seen our elders coming out to start struggling land that didn't belong to them, or invading other community that doesn't belong to them just because of 200 by 200 you are going to be selling. The Benin people, the Edo people, they have to start waking up, because now we have chosen a system that doesn't benefit our people. The part of our forefather created for us, they didn't create it for nothing. They created it so that we can settle our differences. The palace of Oba of Benin is an administrative palace, which is also be respected, not when we're having problem, but when we are not also having problems. The palace, I'm not defending the palace because the palace is supposed to make a statement in this issue concerning Obayanto, because this is a Benin land that is invaded by the military, no matter the circumstances. We should come out and say something peaceful to the people. We have to respond. We know the military is not under our control of the or the control of the palace or under the control of the governor, but we have influence. We had influence. We had influence over the government of our people, because they are not governing empty space, they are governing over people. We have to respond. These are our young men, our future. Our women, children, they have been in bush since few days. I am not from Obayanto, I said it yesterday, but as concerned a Edo person or a Benin person, I have to say this: we are failing these people. It's not just issue of Obayanto alone. We have herdsmen everywhere in Ovia, in Oriomo, in Urom, in all the area in Edo State, or even beyond. Just because of little changes, we decide to be selling our features for all these useless issues. So let me also give my vice president a chance also to speak in this issue. He also have a different view as from my view. So,
well, Mr. President, thank you very much for
thank you too.
For your insights and giving us a clear understanding of a lot of things that have been happening in the palace. I'm going to actually take it from a different angle, and I think it's one of, we were discussing about certain things before we came live. The commitment of an average Benin man and woman to the things that concerns Benin is problematic. Like I was saying, why is it that we always feel that those who are in Benin or who are in Africa are less humans, compared to all of us who are outside, in Europe, in America, and Canada, and all that? I think that's partly one of our problems. We have become so focused on self,
Exactly.
that we do not care about other people. We become so selfish, so self-centered, and it's a result of all the things we see today. These are the results, or the things we see today are as a result of our selfishness. As a people, we really don't care about our brother. We really don't care about our sister. We don't care about our community. It's just about us. And we there's also this underlying division. We talked about. When we talked about some of our social media commentators, who run various organizations, and we talked about a lot of things that has transpired in the past, and the need for us to, foster unity, and you see, we still do not understand the gravity of what has hit us as a people. I think when we do, I hope it's not going to be too late. Because if you are a Benin man and you say you are Benin by ethnic nationality, and so therefore anything that happens to an Issa man is none of your business. When these aggressors are done with Issa, the next place they will head to is Benin land.
Yes.
And if you're Issa man and you say, okay, you are Issa by ethnic nationality, and you do not care about what happens to the Benin man, because of some grudge, some perception. Do not forget that when the aggressor is done with the Benin man, he's going to head towards Issa land.
Exactly.
We do not respect our traditional institutions anymore because we think Western civilization is what makes us more human. And I've always said this, and I've always said this. We have a civilization, and that civilization existed before the Europeans came. You see, any civilization that you adopt that does not bring peace and prosperity to your land, that civilization can't be said to be a civilization. Um, um, how do I say this now? We had a civilization, we had a way of coordinating our societies in the past. We had a way our elders used to, arbitrate issues of this nature. Today, we have derailed from, that system. We have adopted a system that is alien to us. And it's evidently clear that that system that we have adopted so far is creating so much problem for us. It's creating so much problem. We are seeing it everywhere. The palace is seen to be overwhelmed because the palace can only arbitrate and cannot enforce, any decision that comes out of arbitration. Because right now the Constitution of Nigeria has so weakened our traditional institutions that everything that seems to happen in the palace seems to be just a talk show,
Yes.
party, and that is where we as a people should have stepped in to strengthen the palace. How do we strengthen the palace? We help stick to decisions that the palace, has made. We're supposed to, enforce, by ourselves. Enforcement in the sense that, when the palace says, okay, this is the solution, whether you do not like the outcome, you enforce it by accepting it, and moving on, because that way we give the palace, some sort of leverage. Today, we use the courts, the civil courts, and when things don't work, we rush back to the palace. And even if the palace gives a judgment that, is totally different from what the civil court has given, the other party who had a favorable outcome in the civil court would also not listen to the palace. So you find out that you have two different judgments, one from the palace and one from the civil court, and these judgments are actually contradicting each other. These are the things that give rise to so many of the problems we have today, and our selfish nature. We have become so troublesome, so selfish, that so disrespectful of our traditional institutions. And everything you see today is as a result of our attitude towards traditional institutions, nothing more, nothing less. And these issues keep occurring. If the headsman is not killing people, one community is killing the other community. Now, it's not foreigners doing this to the Benin man, it's the Benin man doing this to himself. And this precedence, it's pretty dangerous.
Exactly.
Because it's spreading, it's spreading everywhere today. We've seen for the past 15 years, we've seen communities, go all out, fighting each other, killing each other, maiming, raping, destroying properties, and it doesn't bring any sort of prosperity, One of the things that I think we can do as people is use our platforms to promote peace, and then bring our people together. We were talking about how far we have gone, how we have fared in terms of promoting peace and prosperity amongst themselves. And in the course of our discussion, we recognize the efforts of other leaders of various pan-Benin groups, who have also, done one or two things to promote our heritage, promote peace and prosperity, and during our discussion, we mentioned certain characters, and how we wish, they had been patient, and how we wish others who just zeroed in on those alone would have, expanded their scope of deliberation and included other ethnic groups,
Exactly.
It's very important, it's very important that when we come out on our platforms, that we do not use our platforms to promote agendas that are, kind of, how do I put it, separatist agendas, or agendas that tend to, create a wedge, between all the ethnic groups, in the Benin Empire. I think our organization has done so well because I think of all the pan-Benin organizations, our organization is probably the only organization that gives equal opportunity to every ethnic nationality that we find, in the Benin Empire. And we need to encourage other organizations to do the same thing. We need to encourage other organizations to begin to speak up, as regards these issues, because we might be outside the country and we think it really doesn't concern us. It does concern us. There are so much arms and ammunition flying around in Benin City. We are having private militias right now in Benin City.
Exactly.
We are having right now, taking laws into their hands. It concerns us because we have families, we have friends, we have loved ones in Benin City. And we cannot afford, to have people, take control, of our affairs by way of perpetrating violence. You understand? And it's going on. We are seeing it right here before our eye. We are
Yes.
looking at wanton destruction of lives and properties. When is this going to stop? Well, it is going to stop when we choose to be truthful to ourselves, be less greedy, less selfish, and begin to talk to each other, not talking at each other. Begin to have conversation that brings peace and prosperity. These are conversations, these are things that are absent. We are not having creative conversations. We are not having conversations that add value to the lives of our people. We are not having conversation that promotes prosperity. We are not having a conversation that promotes harmony. Every time we speak as a people, we are actually pushing one ethnic agenda or the other, one
Yes.
political agenda or the other. We are not pushing agendas, a Benin agenda. I think that's where the problem is. We are not
Yes.
pushing a Benin agenda. We are not pushing an agenda of peace, of prosperity. We are not doing that. We are less concerned about that. We are ego driven, we are selfish, in the things that we tend to propagate. And that is where the problem is. If we do not move away from these vices, there cannot be peace and prosperity. No investor is going to invest his money in a volatile environment. No investor is going to do that. And we must also understand, the governor has not said anything. The palace has not said anything. But these are the least people who get affected if there's chaos today. And so as a people, we need to rally around ourselves, and begin to talk to ourselves. What if we don't have a governor? Are we not going to talk to ourselves? We'll talk to ourselves, and so that's the point. We need to begin to reach out, ethnic group by ethnic group. We need to reach out to each other, and begin to have conversation, that brings us together, not conversation that tears us apart. We need to begin to have conversation that promotes peace and prosperity amongst ourselves, and that's the only way we can build a healthy society. Because we say we need jobs. We need jobs for the youth. But we can only have jobs when there's an enabling environment for investors to come and invest, to come and build factories, to come and own farms. Nobody's going to own a farm. Nobody's going to want to invest in a farm and have herdsmen destroy his agricultural produce.
Yes.
Nobody wants to do that. Nobody's going to build factories and have youths burn down the factories and destroy the machines and run at the loss. Nobody's going to do that, And as long as there are no jobs, the youths will continue to engage themselves in vices because they have to survive. They have to eat, they have to clothe themselves, they have to have a roof over their own heads. And you see, that's where the problem is. So we have destroyed the things that are supposed to give us a better life. And we are left with options that are actually more destructive. Because today we are complaining that the youths are engaged in internet fraud, money rituals, and prostitution. But nobody is asking, how did we get there?
Yes.
We got there by making our environment, unattractive for investors. We got there by not speaking the truth. We got there by not having conversation that promotes peace and prosperity. That is how we got there. We got there by not playing our role as a people. We got there by not building a good society. We are very religious. We go to church on Sunday. We go to mosque on Fridays. But how much of the teachings of this religion do we uphold? None. Because if we do, we'll see the results.
Okay.
You understand? Everything we see in our society today is a reflection of who we are. Our greed, our selfishness, our I don't care attitude towards our community building and the fostering of unity is what we are seeing today. And for me, it's so disheartening. It's so disheartening and heartbreaking, Mr. President. I just hope we can begin to have conversations that can promote peace and prosperity, because we need peace and prosperity right now than ever before. I hope also we need to look at the system that our forefathers had in place, the system that helped, limit crisis, and this system is, the system you talked about, where we have our elders come together, sit down, and then arbitrate matters, and talk about issues, and then sort out these issues among themselves, because that's the way to go. If we do not sort out these issues, there is no way we can make progress. And we need to make progress as a people. I think we need to retrace our steps. We need to go back to the fundamentals. We need to look at the templates that our forefathers who built the great Benin Empire, the templates they use. We need to go back to it. We need to look at it critically. We need to fine-tune things that needs to be fine-tuned. We need to adopt the things that need to be adopted, and expel or put aside things that are not going to be of benefit to us. We need to build a better society, and the only way we can do that is by going back and look at the templates, and put the right things in place. Because today it's here, tomorrow is Gelegele, next tomorrow is Uromi, the other time is Ubiaja, and it's becoming so problematic. And every other tribe in Nigeria is moving ahead.
Yes.
Ahead. Our community is becoming unattractive for investors, not just foreign investors, but our own brothers and sisters who want to come home and invest. So many of them want to come home and invest in real estate, and everybody is scared. You buy a land today, you close your eyes before you open it, someone has hijacked your land and is even threatening you with talks.
Yes, sir.
So you can't even buy a land. You are threatened. You buy a land today, you want to start farming, the herdsmen are going to come, trample upon your farm, eat all your stuff, and you are left with nothing. So our community itself, our villages, our community is not attractive for even a Benin man who is outside, who has hustled, toiled for years, who wants to come back and invest in his community, to get something back and to better the lives of his people. The community is not even, it's not safe. And nobody seems to care because we are selfish. Our selfishness has blinded us that we cannot even see.
Exactly.
We can't even see our nose. We can't even smell, the danger that is ahead of us. And it's very, 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 very sad, because yes, we can blame the politicians for a lot of things. But if the politician does not see a tout, a criminal, a miscreant to use, he will go about doing things the right way. The reason why the politician does these things is because they have the options, they have the tools. We ought to deprive them of those tools by not making ourselves readily available for the politician to use against our people. Because you see, when there is chaos, the politician is probably, he has maybe 20 policemen or DSS guarding him. But nobody's going to guard an average, Benin man in the streets. Before anything happens, the politician, he's out of the community. But we are the ones that bear the results. And that is why our people need to really begin to think. It's not a Benin man problem. It's a Benin Empire problem. It's not an Esa man's problem. It's a Benin Empire's problem. It's not an Eka man's problem. It's not an Aochi man's problem. It's not a Oromo man's problem. It's not a Shekeri man's problem. It's a Benin man's problem. We need to begin to see things that way. Because you see, when we are not united, we can be easily defeated.
Yes.
Pressure is going to take us apart, because the small units is not strong enough, to withstand the onslaughts, the attacks of these aggressors. And we need to, begin to close rank and come together and see that the problem that affects a Benin man is a concern of an Esa man, is a concern of a Rubu man, and a John man, or whatever. And problems that affects, the Urobo man It's a concern of every other person too. That way we are, we'll be able to solve our problems. I appeal to our people to begin to look at alternative ways of, resolving our problems. This fighting, this killing is getting too much. Cultism fight is getting too much.
Yes.
This killing fight is too much. It's making our environment, our communities look unattractive for investors. Nobody wants to come home. It's getting out of hand. There are a lot of social intervention problems that, sons and daughters of Benin would want to put in place. We can't, because the level of insecurity in the land is way too much. It's too much. It's getting too much. It's getting out of hand. And there's really nothing the Oba can do, because the Oba does not control the police. He doesn't control the DSS. He doesn't control the army. He doesn't control the security agencies. There's really nothing he can do, and that's the reality, because we ourselves have contributed in making our traditional institutions weak. We as Benis contributed.
Yes.
Because when things happen against the palace, we do not rally around the palace. We do not shield the palace from onslaught, from outside and from within. We do not. We just move on with our life as if nothing concerns us. And it's disgraceful, because we fail to understand that an attack on the palace is an attack on on every son and daughter of the Benin Empire. Exactly. It's not just an attack, because the palace is a representative of the people. He's a custodian of our tradition. Now, if the custodian of our tradition is being attacked, it means that we are the ones that are being attacked. And we don't even seem to understand these things, because we are motivated by our greed and selfishness.
Yes.
President, if there's any other thing, we need to discuss.
Yeah. You talk about the issue of Gelegele. Yep. Yes, the Gelegele seaport is supposed to be realized, as you said before, because of selfishness of our people. How would one ethnic tribe come out to be claiming Gelegele? We all know the Gelegele belong to the Benin Empire. That is not the point. The point is, if Gelegele seaport is realized, it will not benefit only the Edo people or the Benin people. It's going to benefit all the people living around.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't see why some Edo people will be putting claim on Gelegele, or some Izon people, or Robo people, or Shekiri people, or other tribe. We all agree Gelegele belongs to the Benis. That is undisputable. But it won't help us put a claim alone. We have to come out to make sure this thing is real. Put it into realistic, to build the Gelegele port, that we employ some of our people, that we have some people from other tribes. Because the world is not only made for Edo people, or for the Eastern people, or for the Robo people, or the Shekiri people. The Europeans, they realized this very early, in the early stage. That is why they were able to conquer so many of us. Because they know we have the ethnicity problem. The British, they know this, they use this against us. And they are still doing it till today. And we are still playing into their hands.
Exactly.
And the same play we played in 1914. So it is time we start thinking wiser. Gelegele port won't benefit the Edos alone, it will benefit the other tribe also, because if you are going there for an employment, They will not say, because you are a door, they will put you first. The company who owns Gelegele, who is operating Gelegele, they will employ anybody that came to that port. It should have been a big relief for the Edo State. Then we will not be dependent on Lagos alone, because anything that comes through the sea comes from Lagos to Benin. Also, people were talking about the international airport, planning the international airport. And the issue of ethnicity come in again. Some Asian said it should go to Asian land. Please, where is Asian land located in? It's located in Edo State, in Benin Empire. Our brothers and our sisters. And some were claiming should be located in Edo, in Benin. Please, where is Benin located in? It's located in the Benin Empire.
Yeah.
Why must we be fighting ourselves? Why is it so important that we continue to fight ourselves without development? These are the things we should be talking about development, how to bring it in. If the international airport is located in Eastern land today, it's not only going to employ Eastern people, it will also employ Edo people, even Robo, even some nationals who are not even Benin, they will benefit from it.
Yes, exactly.
Come to Europe. Even people who are not national of German or Austria or French, they have big companies in the land. Why? The German, they have their ethnic groups. Likewise, the Austrians, the Hungarians. But you don't see that in the forefront. You don't even see it in the background. But all they know, when it benefits you, it will also benefit me in the future.
Yeah.
And we also talk about the social media people. I can tell you, I'm very, very upset with what is going on in our social media platform. Because the Edos, the Isan, the Ishakiri, fighting against each other, supremacy. What do we gain from supremacy? Nothing.
Nothing. It doesn't on the table. It doesn't bring development.
Even though the Edo person said he's senior, it doesn't bring him anything. It doesn't bring him any advantage.
That's all.
If Isan said he's superior, it doesn't bring him any advantage. Nothing. Why can't we work together to improve the lives of our people? History that is being made is already made. This was made by written by our forefathers. This is the time we ourselves have to make history. Put our history down for our children. A peaceful history for our children to follow. Because if we continue this way, we are also going to ruin the lives of our children and great-grandchildren. Because we didn't lay the foundation. These people will follow a peaceful foundation. Okay. We are selling all the lands that is very close to Benin out to estate developers, to land developers, or what they call them. Where do you think our food should be coming from? Because my father was a farmer. He farmed to educate us. He farmed to put food on the table. But today, foodstuffs are so expensive. Why? Because all our farmland are being sold out. Sold out. People who want to farm, they will also go and rent farm. There's no space for them to farm. We should start putting things into consideration. The Europeans, they did that. There's a land, especially where I'm living now. There's a land that is only allocated to farming land. You can only farm there. And there's a land that is allocated for building houses. You can't just go to anywhere and say, okay, I bought this land from the community. I want to use it to build a house. They will say, no, that land is not allocated for building a house. It's a farmland. Why are they doing this? Many people will say, oh, that's stupid. No, it's not stupid, because they know exactly. If you doesn't have food on the table, the house you are having is useless. If you cannot feed your family, the house you are having is useless. You can see it in Benin today. We have houses everywhere. Also, we have our youths who are armed robbers, who are courtesans. Why? Because the land these people are supposed to be using, farming, doing one project or the other, is already sold out. They have nowhere to go. They can't go to the villages because they don't have any relations in the village again. They don't even know how village life is again. That is the difference. That is where the Benin people need to build on. Whether you are Esan, Urobo, Ishekiri, or Edo. Stop selling our land. Let us give our youth the possibility for them to invest, even though it's ₦1. When they know this ₦1 belongs to me, they can invest it in something, a peaceful something. Not today they invest in that land, somebody will come back tomorrow and be claiming that land, another person will come back again, claiming the same land. The community will be planning on how to retake the land again from him, to sell it to another person. You can say the problems we are causing for ourselves. These are not foreign problems that is being created or that are being created from foreign powers. These are problems we created for ourselves because of greediness. Because of greediness, because we are so greedy, because we are getting 200,000 naira today, we doesn't think about tomorrow. We doesn't think the chaos we are creating for tomorrow. In the case of Obayanto, the responsibility of Okagele is to serve the Edion. The Edion always send Okagele a message. If there's any message to be delivered to any person in the community, the Edion always send the Okagele a message, a messenger, not more, not less than. It's a youth leader, if you want to put it in English. This is a stepping stone from a youth to elders, where you watch how your elders do things in the community meetings. You are not the one presiding over the community. Now we have seen where our problem is coming from. We disrespect our tradition, our traditional rulers. our institutions that make us to be peaceful. How do you expect Oba to make a statement about Obayanto when the Obayantos themselves, they disrespect the Obas? It's not only when you are having problem, you go to the palace to go and complain about the other community. There's a video I watched yesterday. The commentator made mention of since about 15 years ago, how the Obayanto themselves, they went to a war with another community. And now the same thing is happening to them from their same people. The people using the military to kill people in Obayanto, they are not foreigners. They are Obayantos themselves. It's only that our militaries are so stupid that they are being allowed to be used in this situation. Yes, they are supposed to be keeping the peace. We have to change the land system. The constitution of the use of land has to be changed. Otherwise, we won't have peace. Or we give the traditional rulers the right over the land. It's not just about land selling. We have the issue of herdsmen, our council's leaders, our chairman, who is also signing agreement with all these headmen. I can tell you how many people who have died in Oriomo local government or in Ovia local government or in Eastern land we are talking of. We cannot continue this way. Something needs to be happening. Maybe I'm seeing it from a different perspective because I'm not there. But we have to see it from a different perspective. How can we live in peace? Because what I was hearing a few days ago, that the government want to allocate a land for open grazing in Edo State. There's a question there. Is the government blind? Is all our leaders blind? Have they not been seeing the bloodshed?
I mean, I believe it's just for political reasons, And for me, it's just so sad that Governor Obaseki could get himself involved in things like this, because clearly people need to draw a line. And that is where I have a problem with those who are promoting this open grazing agenda. Having cows is a personal business.
Exactly.
People don't say, I want to build a fish pond in other people's land. If you want to go into the business of rearing of cows, go and buy land and build a ranch. These are simple things. If farmers go and get land, they actually rent land to plant. Exactly. Why is it difficult for these herdsmen to go and buy land? Why is it difficult? I really don't even understand. Why is it difficult for them to go and buy land? I mean, in Europe, in civilized societies, these people build ranches, buy lands and build ranches. Why is our own issue always different? And why is the governor himself not showing that he's intelligent enough? Because the governor of Edo State seems not to be intelligent.
Exactly.
With due respect to him, the way he goes about certain things shows that he lacks the knowledge. He lacks the intelligence. Or maybe he's intelligent, but he really does not even care. Because you can't tell me that you are intelligent and you are coming up with policies and coming up with things that is going to be detrimental to your state. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Is the governor telling me today that if I import 100 cows into Edo State, that it gives me the right to be jumping up and down. Does it make sense? If that's the case, then every Edo man should go and buy cows and let all be jumping up and down. If that's the case, why is it that the laws for our people is totally different from the laws, that we actually try to practice when it comes to the Fulani herdsmen? Why is it different? Are they more human than a Bini man?
No.
Governor must understand that one of the basic responsibility of his government, or one of the responsibility of his government, is securing of life and property of the Bini man. That is his primary responsibility. And he cannot always expose the Bini man to danger. He's done it just too many times. He's beginning to act as if he is an enemy of an average Bini man.
Exactly.
He has a lot of things he is doing, albeit slow, but at least he's doing some things. He should not allow this Ruga issue, open grazing issue, paint his government black, because already he's having a credibility issue. There are a lot of crises in Edo State already. You don't add to the crisis. If the governor is smart and intelligent, you don't add to the crisis. The people voted for you. They didn't vote for you to get so that you can come and fold your arms while aggressors get them killed. They didn't vote for you to allow foreigners come and take their properties. And the governor must understand these things. He should understand this because his body language itself is quite irritating.
Yes.
Governor Basse's body language is irritating, is nauseating. Some of the things he says shows that he's not on top of the issue.
Not at all.
He's becoming some sort of disappointment to some of us who actually created time to push for him for his second term. It's becoming embarrassing, disappointing. Some of us have not met him before, but we felt that no, godfatherism has to stop. But there seems to be a new godfather in town, the herdsman.
Yes.
That's what it is. There seems to be a new set of godfathers in town. Well, I am also hearing that most of these herds belong to Benin. And if it belongs to Benin, you tell them to go and buy land.
Yes.
The inner villages and buy land and build ranches, create jobs for the people. These people don't even have common sense. I don't even understand. Then we say we travel to Europe, we are exposed, we go, we have seen the white man's life and everything. And yet you come back and you are behaving this way. Mr. President, do you know that even in the olden days, we don't go about grazing?
No.
We don't go about grazing openly. We don't. Because we understand that when we begin to take herds up and down, it affects the fattening process, it affects the process of milking and all that.
Yes.
We knew this. So why is the governor making it look as if an average Benin man doesn't have common sense? When clearly our forefathers showed us the way. I mean, I don't understand. I support the governor. You know, I of course every Benin man should support the governor because if he does well, it's for the benefit of every Benin man. But you see, when the governor begins to make us feel less important, then we need to give him some knocks.
Yes.
Maybe that will bring him back to his senses. Because right now, from all indication, it seems that those in Osadebe house have lost their senses.
Exactly.
Exposing your people to all sort of security risk. How can he not see this? We have court issues. We have issues with land grabbing. We have communities fighting each other, killing themselves. Then you are adding herdsmen who are even more vicious and more dangerous.
Yes.
Based on their precedents anyway. I don't know, for me, this whole thing is even getting me tired. Maybe we just need to begin to seek that the whole political power be handed over to the upper of Benin. Because I think we would do better if we are under a monarchy.
Yes.
Than having politicians who have no direct, they don't have a connection to the land.
They don't have vision.
They have no connection to the land. And because they have no connection to the land, they go about doing things anyhow. I've always said it, I've always told people, I believe in monarchical democracy. We've had monarchical democracy before the white man. The Benin Empire was a democracy. People should not always think it wasn't. It was a democracy. The Benin Empire was a republic before the white man came.
Exactly.
The Oba did not have absolute power. And we didn't spend this much, spending on commissioner, spending on local government chairman, spending on SSAs and all whatnot. We didn't spend this much.
Not at all.
The political system as we are operating is strangulating. It's dripping us, it's draining us. I don't know. I think we should begin to have serious discussions.
Exactly.
We need to begin to have serious discussions as regards to how we want to be governed. Because I don't want to be governed by a politician.
No.
I don't want it.
Likewise, me.
It's not productive. So far, so good. We've experimented 20-something years, and look at where we are. We can't even afford 5 megawatts of light, 5,000 megawatts of electricity in the whole of Nigeria. Not even to talk of Edo State. Security is zero.
Very, very sad. Very, very
An average man cannot even aspire. Because we have power in the hands of the wrong set of people. We are operating a wrong political system. That's the truth. Because the monarchical system of government, from our experience in the past, is not expensive.
Not at all.
It's not. It is not. We should stop deceiving ourselves. It is not expensive. The monarch didn't have absolute power. We should stop believing lies. We should stop spreading lies. And the crown protected everybody, irrespective of your social status. It's in our history. It is there. So we need to, as Benin people, we need to begin to have this conversation. We don't want to have this party democracy, this partisan politics and all this. We don't want it. I don't want it. Because it's 8 years is not enough to even pass a policy, to even build. 8 years is not enough. There has to be consistency and continuity. We can't keep changing drivers every time.
No.
Most importantly, people who don't even have a connection to the people. We can't. We need to take back these powers and hand it over to the monarch.
Exactly.
We trust our monarch far more than the politician. I trust your
100% more.
Far more than the president of Nigeria. Because what makes me Nigerian anyway? Because the law we operate in the south part of Nigeria is totally different from the law that is operated in the northern part of Nigeria.
Exactly.
What makes me Nigerian? Nothing that makes me Nigerian. Nothing. And these are the issues that we should, as Benin people, sit down and begin to discuss. Not all these stupid things that tend to separate us and cause strife and disharmony and disunity, and we begin to pull ourselves down and engage in all this nonsense that does not bring any sort of prosperity in our land. I don't know. I think we need to have serious discussions with
Yes,
the president.
yes.
You know, we need
And
to begin to talk to other pan-Benin groups and bring
that,
these people together. Let us all sit down together. Let us even ask ourselves, what is the Benin agenda? Do
no,
we
we
have
doesn't
a
have
Benin agenda?
nothing.
Why don't we have a Benin agenda? That is the first question we should ask ourselves. What is the Benin agenda?
Nothing.
Every Benin man must have the agenda engraved in his heart. Whether you leave Benin and you go to Lagos, you go to Abuja, you go to Ghana, you go to Europe, you go to Germany, America, Asia, anywhere you go, you must always go with that consciousness of the Benin agenda.
Exactly.
But do we have a Benin agenda?
Not at all.
You know, so I think, Mr. President, we look up to you, we look up to your leadership. You know, these are conversations we should begin to have with other groups, other pan-Benin groups.
Yeah,
You know, so that
we will do everything that is possible, but the problem we are really facing is the ethnicity today, the supremacy issue. Bringing the Benin's together is a very, very difficult task because some of us has a very, very bitter mind. Let me put it that way, bitter mind, when it comes to other ethnic group in the Benin's.
you know, we discussed it. We discussed about why, you know, when we were discussing offline, we talked about we were talking about the death of Oguname
Yes,
and how Oguname should have united us. But we
yes,
find out that the so-called pan-Benin groups are more Edo
yes,
than Benin.
yes,
And like you also said when we were discussing that the only person that to have stood out there was Aigbe.
yes, that is the truth.
You know, you know, and for me, like you said, his problem was impatience. I
Yes,
also want to say that his problem was also insecurity
yes,
because he was doing, Aigbe was doing so well,
yes,
you know. And I also feel that a lot of other pan-Benin groups, the leaders didn't like the fact that Aigbe was doing so well.
also exactly.
You understand? But he also, along the line, he messed up.
Yes,
You know, because a lot of us were following him and we're looking up to him. I'm not going to sit in a platform that tends to promote any sort of superiority.
exactly.
And of all the Benin musicians, then it was a great Benin emancipation at that time
Yes,
that stood out. That stood out. But I don't know where this whole ESA agenda came from. I felt that as a Benin man, the best man should lead, whether he's Isoko, whether
exactly,
he's Ika, whether he's Benin, whether he's Esa, it's none of my business. The best son and daughter from Benin land should be the one in front.
exactly.
That is my opinion. That is the way I see it. That is my own Benin agenda. My Benin agenda is I see a Benin man or woman, irrespective of the ethnic group he comes from. I support him. I throw my weight behind that person to
Exactly.
see him or her prosper. That is my own Benin agenda. To lift up my own brother, to lift up my sister, irrespective of the ethnic group. That's my Benin agenda. But we don't even seem to have an agenda.
No.
And it's disheartening.
We can see today the Yoruba agenda, who they are bringing up.
Yeah.
When the coup, let me call it coup, they were trying to use Igbo field.
Yeah.
All of them retreat.
Yeah.
They retreat. Now they are putting Tinubu and Osinbajo forward.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yes. And the Igbos are also doing the same things.
Yeah.
The Hausas and the Fulanis, They are also doing the same thing. But we from the south, let's just put it that word, south, which make the Benin Empire. What are we putting forward? Who are we pushing forward? We have nothing. We cannot be roaming around supporting other people. I complained before about this ethnic politics. These people, they invented this ethnic politics, where you have the Yorubas on their own. They only vote their own people. The few votes that come out in Yoruba that doesn't vote their people, you will know there are people who just reside in Yoruba land. Likewise, the Igbo, they vote their people first. The Hausa and the Fulani, the same thing. No? Oh, sorry, we lost the contacts of our vice, but we will, he will be coming back. No? So this is the time. We have to have a Edo agenda, the Benin's agenda. He was talking about Agbe Okosun, the former chairman of the Benin Empire Advancement League. Yes, he was an outstanding person when it comes to that issue, that period. We were having so many Edos, talk shows, and other organizations that represent Edos. But there was nobody representing the Benin's. And many people said they can't imagine that such a person was a chairman of the Great Benin Emancipation. Yes, you cannot. People cannot imagine that because people doesn't know what the Benin's were going through that period. But he recognized this. And we who were with him, we recognized this, that the Benin's were going down because of supremacy. When I was invited into that organization to play a part in the organization, I was happy. Due to the nature of my job, I have to have a security clearance, of which I did. After that, when I came into the organization, I saw so many things that needed to be changed. I tell him, look at this, look at this, look at that. He made that change. In the constitution of the Great Benin Emancipation, we have it very bold. No discrimination, no matter the language you speak, no matter where you came from. But we can also say this about other Benin's platforms we're having. All we're having is about Edo. So I'm going to be rounding up. We should start thinking twice, thinking further, thinking into the future. Because most of us that is here now, we have already spent the half lifespan of our life, but our children are coming. Are we going to be giving them the same message? Are we going to be sending them the message? What message are we going to be sending out to our people? Who is going to be the next governor of Edo State? Who are we going to give given this mandate? Somebody who respects our tradition? Or just somebody who is popular? I think there's a lot we have to start thinking about. That Benin Empire does not belong to the Edos alone. It includes our brothers and sisters from Isan, Ika, Urobo, Shekiri, Kwale, Iwere, Ikwere, and so on. This empire is so large, so really large, that if we put it into economic power, I swear there's no space for Nigeria. There's no space for other people to compete with us. But when we need to be cutting our coat, just too small for us to put on, then we can't put it on. The ethnic division among us need to stop. Need to stop so that we can progress. Dr. Samuel Ogbemudia, he knew this right from time. Our founding fathers of the Midwest, Robert Arkansas II, knew this also. That's why he unites us together to make sure we stand together as brothers and sisters. But he couldn't unite all of us, but those ones that were willing to be with us, he made sure they really be with us. I think we should start building on this, to be bringing our people together instead of division because of history or because of one war that was fought 100 years ago or 200 years ago. Those are past events. Let us go to the future and start building the future. Not just only just for us, but in the sake of our children, so that they can have a peaceful life in our community. I want to thank everyone. It's like our vice chairman is not going to join us again, and I'm also going to depart now. Before the week, next week runs out, we'll be coming again. We are going to be having such conversations. But before I left, I want to send a message out to our people. If you know you are a historian, you know much about the history of the Beninese, we would like to work with you. You mustn't be a member of this organization if you doesn't want to be. But we would like to work with our historians to give a sense to our people that they should know they belong to a great power. A sense of belonging, that they belong to a certain group of people. That is something great. If you know you can do this, we would like to welcome you. We would like to work with you, also assist you, to give you all the necessary things that is important to do that. There are people who are ready. So thank you for joining us today. And we say, Oboe Etuzola Nohua, and a happy Sunday to everyone. Thank you, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.